Welcome back to N's NotebookLM. So, what if I told you that the key to unlocking better health and performance isn't about taking more air in, but actually taking in less? Today, we're diving into a powerful secret that kind of flips everything we've been taught about breathing completely on its head.
Muhammad Ali, he knew a thing or two about performance, right? And today, we're going to find a tiny pebble that affects pretty much everyone, from elite athletes to, just us trying to stay healthy. And that pebble? It's a fundamental, deep misunderstanding of how we're supposed to breathe.
Think about it for a second. What's the very first thing someone tells you when you're stressed out or you're about to lift something heavy? Take a big, deep breath, right? It feels so natural, so intuitive. We all just assume that more air going in must mean more oxygen getting to our muscles.
But here's the wild part. That common advice, it's just not right. In a survey of marathon runners, a whopping 95% believed it. And get this, they were wrong. Taking those huge, gulping breaths is often the exact opposite of what your body actually needs, especially when you're exercising.
Okay, so here's why that advice is so off. Your blood, it's almost always totally full of oxygen. At rest, your red blood cells are already 95 to 99% saturated. So trying to force more oxygen in by taking a giant breath, it's like pouring more water into a glass that's already completely full. It just spills over. It doesn't actually do anything. So if the problem isn't getting more oxygen into our blood, what is it? Well, welcome to what's called the oxygen paradox. See, the real key to unlocking and actually using the oxygen that's already in your blood isn't more oxygen. It's a gas we've all been taught to think of as just a waste product, carbon dioxide. And this whole idea is explained by a scientific principle called the Bohr effect.
Let's break this down. Think of your red blood cells like a fleet of tiny delivery trucks, and they're all loaded up with oxygen. They travel from your lungs out to your muscles. But they won't release their precious cargo unless they get the right signal. And that signal, the actual key that unlocks the oxygen from the truck, is carbon dioxide. More CO2 in your muscles basically tells the red blood cells, hey, this area is working hard, drop off the oxygen right here.
And this right here is the absolute core of the problem. When we take those big, deep breaths, we're actually over-breathing. And when we do that, we blow off way too much CO2. Without enough of that CO2 signal, our little red blood cell delivery trucks get kind of greedy. They just hold on to their oxygen. And the result? Less oxygen actually gets delivered to our muscles, which causes the exact fatigue and breathlessness we were trying to avoid in the first place.
So if overbreathing is the enemy, what's the solution? Well, it all starts with how you breathe. And let me tell you, the difference between breathing through your nose versus your mouth is, well, it's night and day. Nasal breathing filters and warms the air. It keeps your body in a calm state. It even conserves moisture. Mouth breathing, on the other hand, it triggers your stress response and completely bypasses one of the most important jobs of the nose.
But wait, there's more. Nasal breathing has a hidden superpower. It's called nitric oxide. This incredible gas is produced in your sinuses, but it's only released into your body when you breathe through your nose. It opens up your blood vessels, opens your airways, helps lower blood pressure. It's essential for your whole cardiovascular system. And if you breathe through your mouth, you get zero. None of it.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this practical. You can actually measure your own breathing efficiency, your own sensitivity to carbon dioxide, right now with a super simple test. You want to try it?
All right, this is called the Body Oxygen Level Test, or BOLT for short. Just take a moment to breathe normally and quietly. Now, after a gentle, normal exhale, and I mean a really normal one, don't force it out, pinch your nose closed and start a timer. Now, the key here, and this is really important, is to stop the timer the second you feel the first distinct urge to breathe. This is not a contest to see how long you can hold your breath. It's just about measuring your body's tolerance to that CO2 building up.
So, what'd you get? If your score is under 20 seconds, it's a pretty strong sign that you're chronically overbreathing, which makes you really sensitive to CO2, and that's probably why you feel so breathless during exercise. A score between 20 and 30, that's about average, but there's a ton of room for improvement. But if you're hitting 40 seconds or more, your breathing is incredibly efficient.
40. That's the magic number. A score of 40 seconds is the ideal goal. It indicates amazing respiratory efficiency and a really low sensitivity to carbon dioxide, which, by the way, is the hallmark of elite endurance athletes. It just means you can do more work with way less effort.
So how do you get there? How do you get to 40? The whole goal is to increase that BOLT score by retraining your body's response to CO2. And the method is pretty simple in concept. Breathe light to breathe right. It's all about practicing calmer, lighter breathing to gradually and comfortably build up your tolerance to carbon dioxide.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. The results can be absolutely life-changing. Take Allison, for example. She was an avid cyclist who suffered from extreme breathlessness and even nausea on her rides. After just 2 weeks of practicing these principles, her symptoms completely vanished. Her performance shot up, she felt calmer, slept better, had more energy. She finally fixed that little pebble in her shoe.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. What if the biggest invisible barrier that's been holding you back isn't your diet or your willpower or your training plan, but something you do 25,000 times a day without even a second thought? If this topic has captured your interest and you'd like to dive deeper, the book is called The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McKweon.